What's going on, everyone? Mike Kadlick, Tayler Kyles here for CLNS Media inside of Gillette Stadium as the Patriots are outside in the rain getting ready to wrap up their 2024-2025 season, taking on the Buffalo Bills this coming Sunday. A reminder, we're powered by Prize Picks and Game Time. And Taylor, there's a lot of talk now around this Patriots team. Should they keep Jerod Mayo? Should they fire Jerod Mayo? Should they go get Mike Vrabel? Should they fire Alex Van Pelt? Should they fire DeMarcus Covington? All we know is there should be and probably will be a lot of changes around this coaching staff, whether it's the top, whether it's some people underneath, whether it's Elliott Wolf. Something's going to change in the staff, in the building, heading into next year because this 3-14, 4-13 season isn't going to cut it. So we talked to a bunch of players today. Hunter Henry, Drake May, Antonio Gibson all seemed to be defending Alex Van Pelt. Actually, even Antonio Gibson mentioning that he's actually turned into the scapegoat.
I know a lot of people have been trying to attack him, but we the ones who got to go out there and play. And, they caught a call, and we got to execute. And our execution this whole year has been, on and off, never consistent. So to throw him under the bus would be completely wrong. He has a lot of great things that's drawn up for us. And, sometimes it gets shaky, but when it's his fault, he take responsibility for it. And when it's our fault, we do the same thing. So, I'm rocking with him.
So a lot of these players here, they seem to be behind Van Pelt. Not much towards Covington, really. I know you asked a bunch of questions today of some of these players, but what do you make of where this coaching staff is at, what changes should be made, and kind of where's this thing going to go, do you think?
So in the event that Jerod Mayo stays, it seems like that's the most likely scenario. The Crafts do not want to be the kind of ownership group that's going to pull the plug on guys early, and first-year coaching firings are just so uncommon. Even if they happen, usually they're so bad they happen during the season. So more likely than not, I think Jerod Mayo does end up staying, even though I think what he has done publicly in kind of consistently having mixed messaging and then kind of becoming a national laughingstock in terms of how he handles press conferences, to be very honest,
right.
I think those are reasons why you should move on. But if he does stay, I think keeping Alex Van Pelt is crucial. Hunter Henry has said multiple times he loves Van Pelt's energy, he loves what he brings to the offense, and he loves his scheme. Drake May has showered Van Pelt and T.C. McCartney and Ben McAdoo with praise for how he's been developed and the way that he's able to learn from him. I don't see any world where Alex Van Pelt getting fired is a net positive for you. Maybe you get a coordinator with a more advanced scheme or what have you, but I think it's a bad look when the offense is the only group other than special teams that's showing any sign of progress or potential, and then you kneecap them when they don't have the talent to really get Alex Van Pelt's offense on the field the way he wants it. Now, Covington, on the other hand, I did want to ask players about him because you don't really hear players go out of their way to defend DeMarcus Covington. Dietrich Wise, who worked with Covington for years, that needs to be acknowledged, has said it's been cool to see him grow, how he worked with the defensive line, worked with linebackers, and went back to the defensive line. And Wise mentioned how he also learned a lot about the secondary before becoming the defensive coordinator, said that he and Covington have a lot of good talks about defenses, how to counter what offense formations give you, and things like that. Jonathan Jones kind of backed him up and said, hey, this is the first defensive coordinator we've had that wasn't Bill Belichick, right. So you got to give him some grace. It's the first year. But you didn't really hear a lot of the conviction, I think, that you get from players talking about Van Pelt, where there is a very clear defense of Van Pelt anytime he's brought up, and players really don't seem to take kindly to him being criticized. And even Gibson said, yeah, when he's wrong, he owns it.
Right.
But we also, he makes us better and coaches us hard. Covington, I just don't think you get the same type of defense. And even John Jones saying after last week's game that some coaches weren't pulling their weight necessarily or weren't doing enough. And I don't think he's talking about Steve Belichick. I don't think he's talking about Mike Pellegrino. Dante Hightower is the only other guy where I think you might have a case there, but Hightower has acknowledged that he has struggled as a first-year coach. And why would John Jones...
John Jones has no way to kind of call out him because they don't really work together.
Be very odd to do, especially with all the hits that the linebacker group has taken. So it feels like it's either Mayo or it's Covington. Players have defended Mayo, and it hasn't been the same for Covington. So if Jerod Mayo's gone, I think defensive coordinator has to be addressed. I think either way, to be honest, but if it is Mike Vrabel, I know we've talked about Josh McDaniels potentially taking over. Honestly, considering Vrabel just spent a year with Cleveland, with the Browns, being in that organization, I'm sure he's heard a decent amount, or at least could find out about Alex Van Pelt, about Elliott Wolf, who I know a lot of people want to be fired, but to be very clear, first-year GM firings just don't happen.
Right.
And also, if you're going to say Jerod Mayo was put in a tough spot, so was Elliott Wolf. He may have had the money, but he didn't have a whole lot of places to spend it. So I think if it is Mike Vrabel, figure he probably keeps Alex Van Pelt around, especially because the offense is so behind him. I think you keep Elliott Wolf, but then hopefully you get the defensive coordinator from the Giants. I know in Hard Knocks they were talking about the pressure packages he's able to bring. So maybe you get a connection there. Vrabel brings him over. I think you look a lot better in terms of the future of your
gas.
Exactly, because because you have a defensive mind who's proven himself at the coordinator level and a head coach who has won Coach of the Year, obviously has had success, gone to the playoffs, done a really good job of hiring offensive minds. So if he thinks that Alex Van Pelt's got what it takes, you can keep him, maintain stability, but make changes where you desperately need to. So again, I don't think Mayo goes, but it feels like however you slice it, Covington's going to be the one out because I think you truly will have a mutiny. I know I use the M word, but I think you will have a mutiny on your hands if you decide to kick AVP to the curb while maintaining the rest of the staff.
Going to be fascinating to see how this all plays out. Jerod Mayo heading into what could be his final game as the Patriots head coach this coming Sunday against the Buffalo Bills. Myself and Tayler Kyles will be here for CLNS Media, so make sure you keep it here on Patriots Press Pass. Rate, review, and subscribe to the channel.